As of February of 2024, the Buffalo Sabres and the Florida Panthers are in vastly different situations. But it wasn't always this way. In fact, just 10 months ago, they were in nearly the same position. Both were in the wildcard race, along with the New York Islanders and the Pittsburgh Penguins. On April 4th, the Sabres and the Panthers played against each other, just 10 days before the end of the regular season. The Panthers had 85 points, while the Sabres only had 81, but the Sabres had 2 games in hand over the Panthers. With a win, the Panthers would take a wildcard spot with 4 games left to play, as they hold the tiebreaker over the Islanders. But if the Sabres win, they would make up ground on the teams ahead of them in the playoff picture, with 6 games left to play. A major 2 points up for grabs as the end of the season looms. The game between the Sabres and Panthers was a defensive battle, led by Panthers' Alex Lyon and Sabres' Devin Levi. Alex Lyon was 30 years old, but this was his first time since the 2017-2018 season with double-digit starts. Toward the end of the season, he was getting more starts, which seemed to signify that the Panthers wanted to sign him for next year, considering this would be a free agent year for him. Devin Levi was 21 years old, and this would be his first time in the NHL. He was getting consistent starts as well toward the end of the season, and seemed like he could also be the guy moving forward. So, how did this game go, if it was so important? It didn't take long for the first goal to go in. Just 3 minutes and 42 seconds in, on their first shot of the game, the Sabres took an early lead when Jeff Skinner won a puck battle on the boards and passed it to the open man and Alex Tuch, who scored a wrist shot just over the left pad of line. This would give the Sabres a 1-0 lead and possibly lead to more goals in the future. Or so they thought. As it turned out, Alex Tuch was offsides, and after a coach's challenge, they called the goal back. No worry, the Sabres will just score again. They can do that, right? Well, after the Sabres went on the power play, Rasmus Dahlin found Dylan Cousins curling from the point and sent him a pass. Cousins wound up for the shot and sniped one over the glove of line to give the Sabres a 1-0 lead just a little over 5 minutes after the first goal was called off. Despite being outshot 6-2, the Sabres had the lead. The Sabres, however, were not known for the defense, as they finished with a negative goal differential, despite outscoring the Panthers, who finished with a positive goal differential. While on the power play, a puck battle was won along the boards by Alexander Barkov, who passed it to the point man and Brandon Montour, who gave a cross-ice feed to Aaron Ekblad. Ekblad snapped the puck from the high slot that deflected out the defender's skate, which fooled Levi, as it went in over his blocker, tying the game at 1 apiece. At the end of the first period, the shots were 13-14 Sabres, far more shots than average in a period. Despite all the shots, the score was only 1-1. Levi and Lyon were starting to emerge as solid starters near the end of the season as their defense failed them. Even with 8.5 minutes left in the second period, and the shots were even at 19, they were still holding their ground. But, in the third period, Levi was beat just 59 seconds in. After a giveaway by Tage Thompson, the puck would eventually find Brandon Montour at the point. He passed it into traffic in front and hit the tape of Matthew Tkachuk, who tipped it into the top right corner over the glove of Devin Levi. With just over 19 minutes left to play, the Panthers had taken their first lead of the night, and they would not relinquish it. Even though the Sabres had 18 shots in the third period alone, Alex Lyon stood tall and did not let a puck in after early in the first period. The Panthers might have even scored again, if not for the holding call on Mattias Samuelsson, who held Anthony Duclair trying to get a decent shot on a partial breakaway with just 2 minutes and 31 seconds left in the game. This penalty would end up killing the chances of a Sabres win, and the Florida Panthers would end up taking this game 2-1. A huge 2 points, as they only have 4 more games left to play in the regular season. So, why was this game so important? The Sabres would end up missing the playoffs by 1 point. The Panthers would end up clinching the second wildcard spot over them and the Penguins. If the Sabres had managed to get another goal or stop the Panthers from getting so many opportunities, they could have made the playoffs, but the Panthers made it instead. In the first round, the Panthers had to play against the top team in the league. They won in 7. In the second round, they played against the 4th best team in the conference. They won in 5. In round 3, they went on to play against the 2nd best team in the conference. They swept them. They were doing all this as the second wildcard team and the 17th overall team in the standings. This run revived the team and its fans, as the last time the Panthers had won more than one playoff round was in 1996. In 2023, they would win 3. And yes, they would lose to the Vegas Golden Knights in 5, but that didn't matter. As of right now, the Panthers are in a battle for first place in the division with the Boston Bruins. They were getting depth scoring, a near top of the league defense, and have seen an average increase in attendance by almost 2,000 fans. The Sabres, however, have only seen an average increase by only 400 fans, as they are near the bottom of the division and conference, and have no chance of making the playoffs unless they get on a major winning streak before the end of the season. As for the goalies from that game, Devin Levi is in the minor leagues and is still working on his game, as he has an .891 save percentage in the NHL. Alex Lyon, however, was signed by the Detroit Red Wings and has become a very good option at the goaltending position, with a .912 save percentage even under the team's worse than average defense. But that's besides the point. The Sabres missed the playoffs by 1 point, and then the next year were unable to get back to even competing for the playoffs. If they could have beaten Lyon one more time, then maybe they can go on to win in overtime or the shootout. Then they would make it to the playoffs and would give themselves some momentum for next year. It's amazing what momentum can do for a team. The Panthers beat 3 of the best teams in the league last year in the playoffs just by realizing what their potential was. Now look where they are. I'm not saying that the Sabres would have gone to the finals and possibly even won the cup. What I'm getting at is if the Sabres went to the playoffs, it would have set a spark in the team of what they can actually accomplish. Then, this year, the Sabres could have been in the playoff hunt at least, possibly even second or third in the division. Yet, none of that happened, and the Sabres were eliminated before the playoffs even began.